Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum and good morning from
Walaikum
cold
salam.
Britain here in Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. Thank you very much for inviting me to share my opinion as a scholar of international relation. But before I share my professional opinion, I would like to point out that I am the son of Nakba survivals. My father was Nakba survival. My mother was Nakba survival. My grandparents were Nakba survivals. And also some of my sisters also were Nakba survival. So I felt to point out this before I start my professional opinion as a scholar of international relation. One party to this conflict is Israel. And what I would like to share with you, what is the nature of Israel? We talked about, the previous speakers talked about Palestinians, Arabs and Christian and Jews also. But what is the nature of this party? Sometimes we ignore to understand. So I hope what I will be sharing with you will give a better understanding of this party to the conflict, Israel. And in light of the British documents revealed by the British government, which I spent several years studying in the first half of 1980s and other available sources, lasting 40 years of studying these documents between 1983 and 2023, I found that Israel is not a state. This might be a shock to some of you. To prove this, I will be examining historical and recent document related that Israel is not a state. And I will share with you, if it is not a state, what it is. The project was initiated by Christian religious leaders in Britain since 1800. Then fostered by the British state by the opening of the British consulate in the holy city of Jerusalem in 1938. Then it was strategically adopted by the builders of the British Empire in 1840. In 1840, before the emergence of the Zionist movement in 1897. This is very important to note. And currently, this is sponsored by the United States of America. What was the aim of this project? According to this document, the aim was to establish, quote, a foreign human barrier, end of quote, in the southwestern part of the Levant. It took Britain over 108 years to achieve this aim, from 1840 to 1948. So let me start with first historical document. Part of Britain's famous policy, divide and rule, the initial step was the isolation of Egypt from the Levant. That dated back to the 15th of July, 1840, when the major power, including Britain, signed a treaty to isolate Egypt. The correspondence between the British Foreign Secretary, Lord Palmerston, and his ambassador in Istanbul, in particular Palmerston's memoirs, dated the 11th of August, 1840, and his letter in February 1841, revealed the true objective of establishing a barrier or a human, of a bridge or a human barrier, which was to create a regional area within the Ottoman Empire under the British protection forming an obstacle or a barrier preventing the establishment, and I would like you to look at this, preventing the establishment of political unity among the Arab provisions. The Ottoman at that time was collapsing. That's another issue. This led to the British occupation of Egypt in 1882. This is one document. The second historical document, called Campbell-Bannerman Report of 1907. I'm talking before Balfour Declaration, which my colleagues highlight excellently. Campbell-Bannerman Report of 1907, prepared by a committee specialized in colonial affairs from 7 European countries, including a group of leading scholars in history, sociology, economics, agriculture, geography, and petroleum. It emphasized that the real source of danger to Western colonial state lies in the Arab provinces and in the Arab people living there. To deal with this potential threat, potential danger, as they said it, the report recommended the following measurement, and I would like you to pay attention to this measurement if you don't mind. The first recommendation, working to create a state of disintegration, fragmentation, and division in the Arab region. Secondly, establishing artificial states subordinate to Western colonial power and under their control. Maybe you can imagine what is happening now in 2024. Number three, combating any form of intellectual, spiritual, or historical unity, and implying all available strong means to separate the region and its people from one another. The fourth recommendation, which is called urgent recommendation, to implement the above three recommendations, it is necessary to work on, I quote, establishing a strong and foreign human barrier on the land bridge that connects Europe to the ancient world and links them together with the Mediterranean Sea, creating near the Suez Canal a force hostile to the people of the region and friendly to the European states and their interests, is the urgent practical implementation of the proposed means and methods. Indeed, this report served as a green light for the British practical policy. Then in 1917, the British occupied Palestine and the holy city of Al-Quds, and we have the Balfour Declaration in 1917. From 1917 to 1947, Britain facilitated the establishment of their project Israel. So what was the objectives of this Western colonial project? From studying these British document, it revealed to me 5 main objectives. The first one, protect the human barrier, Israel, and secure its existence. And this is the language we hear from the government of Britain now, most European country, and the United States. Protect the human barrier, Israel, and secure its existence. That's number one. Number two, maintain the state of fragmentation and disunity in the Arab region and prevent any real unity among its country, which is we can see now. Number three, economically control the resources of the Arab region, which we are witnessing for a number of years. Number four, prevent the emergence of any Muslim power in the Arab region and West Asia. The last one, prevent the rise of any Sunni Muslim revolution in the region. the question which I would like to pose to ask, are these goals still relevant today? The answer, yes. The following evidence I will share with you confirm that it is ongoing. I will share with you a number of documents. These are recent documents. 60 years after the establishment of Israel, Gordon Brown, while he was the British Prime Minister, stated on the 8th of May 2008, I quote, the establishment of the State of Israel was one of the greatest achievements of the 20th century. End of quote. In 2017, 100 years after the British occupation of Palestine and Balfour Declaration, the British government still insists on its stand. Theresa May, the British Prime Minister at the time, refused to apologize to the Palestinians. I quote, Her Majesty's government does not intend to apologize. We are proud, I would like to pay attention to this part of the quote. We are proud of our role in the creation of the State of Israel. End of quote. My other document, Mr. Aznar, the Prime Minister of Spain from 1996 to 2004, wrote an article in the Times of London on the 17th of June 2010. Title, what was the title of his article? Support Israel. If it goes down, we all go down. End of the title. He described Israel as, I quote, our first line of defense in a troubled region, a region vital to our energy security, and the front line in the war against extremism. If it falls, we will all fall with it. I will repeat this. If it falls, we will all fall with it. Israel is a fundamental part of the West. End of quote. The current US President, Joe Biden, his history is marked by absolute support of Israel. In 1986, he stated, I quote, if Israel did not exist, the United States would have to invent Israel to, pay attention to this part, to protect American interest. I will say this again, if you don't mind. This was in 1986. If Israel did not exist, the United States would have to invent Israel to protect American interests. In 2007, he said, I quote, Israel is the greatest strength America has in the Middle East. I will repeat again. Israel is the greatest strength America has in the Middle East. Imagine our circumstances in the world without Israel. End of quote. In conclusion, I would like to stick to the 15 minutes. In conclusion, what we have been witnessing in the last 136 days since October the 7th of 2003 in Gaza Strip are massacres, ethnic cleansing, genocide, and other war crimes led by American administration, United Kingdom, and other Western states. These are proof evidence that the American administration, the UK government, and other governments are fully responsible for paving the way for all war crimes in Gaza Strip. The blood of Gaza is on their hands as much as on Israel. I wrote 2 letters, formal letters, to the British Prime Minister. One in 31st of December 2003, and the other one on the 24th of January 2004. I would like to share with you one quote of what I have written to Rishi Sunak, the current British Prime Minister, in my letter on 31st of December 2003. I quote, "The UK government, complicit in Israel war crime in Gaza Strip, with the blood of Gaza equally on the hands of the UK government as it is on Israel." Finally, I hope I presented from these documents, historical documents and current document, that Israel is not a state, but a Western colonial project in the Arab region. Thank you very much indeed for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Professor El-Awaisi, for your perspective. You have broadened our knowledge as well with regard to the wide range of violation of international law committed by Israel and its allies, from, of course, a historical perspective as well, and thought-provoking conclusion that you have provided with us.